Hi, with just a few weeks left for CAT 2022, now is the time to go ahead and solidify your personal exam taking strategy. With that in mind, BYJU'S Exam Prep brings to you the All India Open Mock CAT. Know exactly where you stand against thousands of CATers and get video solutions and a live mock attempt. What more? There are also thousands of scholarships up for grabs.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible. Right. So finally, I'm live. I welcome you to this session on phrasal verbs. We'll learn a lot of phrasal verbs today. Okay, and I'll tell you about some sources from where you can learn these, practice these. They're important for all your non-CAT exams, right? They're important for CAT in the sense that in your RC passages, if you do not understand the meaning of phrasal verbs at times, you can misinterpret the sentence. So it's important that we know various commonly used phrasal verbs. Okay? Good noon, Nihar, Ishan. Hi Varun, yes, I'm doing well. I hope the same for you. Okay, so let's begin our session for the day. But before that, you know this, the exam, the mock test is live right now, and you can take it now, right? So don't delay this. Don't procrastinate. Take it as soon as possible. You'll get a percentile and you'll be compared to a lot of students across India. You'll get mock attempts by experts later on, and you'll also get question-wise video solutions. So it's worth taking this one. All right. Let's see some of your messages. Just a second. Good afternoon, Apurva. Good afternoon. Right. So what is the agenda of today's session? Of course, we'll talk about what phrasal verbs are. First, let's understand that. Then after that, we'll learn some new phrasal verbs through various questions. Okay, so we have different question types to learn them. And ultimately, see, we have to practice using these phrasal verbs. If I just tell you a phrasal verb and its meaning, then it's just like, telling you a new word and its meaning without your understanding how to use it, without you're actually using them. That's of no use actually. You'll forget it after some days. So we have to practice in such a way that we look at how they are used in various sentences and then we start using them, right? Okay. So Varun, see, one thing is that you have to see if your percentile is fluctuating or not. So if your score fluctuates, that's not an issue because the difficulty level of each mock is different, right? So see if your quant DILR percentile fluctuates significantly, right? If it is fluctuating significantly, then see in which topics you tend to make mistakes. Are there any such particular topics in which you are making mistakes, right? So identify what is causing this percentile to fluctuate. What are the specific topics? Is there any specific strategy that you followed in the previous mock that you did not follow this time? So see where the problem lies, in preparation or in strategy. There are only two problem areas, right? Okay. So let's talk about our phrasal verbs, what exactly they are. Let's understand that. Yes, so who will tell me what exactly phrasal verbs are? Phrasal, it means it has a phrase. What is a phrase? A group of words. Okay, a group of words is a phrase. And because we have the word verbs here, that means this group of words has a verb in it. Yes. So phrasal verbs refers to a group of words containing a verb plus a preposition or an adverb. Plus a preposition or an adverb. Right? That is a phrasal verb. Now, preposition. So can you give me some examples? Yes, before I give you some, I would like to have some examples from your end. What do you understand by phrasal verbs? What are some examples that you may be using in your everyday life? Yes. When we call up someone, we telephone them. To call up someone. When we look for something that we may have lost, to look for something, we are searching for it. Then when we say, oh, I need to cut down on my calories, to cut down on, or in fact to cut down also, just this also works, right? On may be added, may not be added. So to cut down on calories. Then She walked out on him. To walk out on someone. To walk out on someone. That is to abandon them. So there are so many phrasal verbs that we use subconsciously. We just don't know that they are phrasal verbs. Okay, what sets them apart from your normal words, right? From your normal phrases is that they carry a fixed meaning. They carry a fixed meaning. That's why they're a part of vocabulary, right? That's why they're a part of vocabulary. So you have to learn the various fixed meanings associated with various phrasal verbs. Now, what makes them relatively more challenging as compared to, let's say, your usual words is that one, first of all, verb can have multiple phrasal verbs associated with it, right? To call in, we have a question actually with call. Okay, to call in, to call out, to call up, I've already mentioned, right? Then to call back. Okay, so basically, all of these have specific fixed meanings attached to them, and all of these are different also. We have to learn all of them. And another thing is that one phrasal verb can carry multiple meanings. Even this can happen. So, for instance, to call in has three meanings, right? I'll not tell you those now. I'll tell you those when we come across this question, right? That's why I'm not taking more examples also. So, to call in has multiple meanings. One phrasal verb can have multiple meanings. So, it's better that we, yes, to hang up, when we hang up the phone, right? To carry out is to accomplish a task, to perform a task, right? Uh, I'll quickly grab something. This is not really a phrasal verb. Okay, to pick up. Yes, that is a phrasal verb. To pick someone up. That is a phrasal verb. Okay. All right. Hello, Kavya. So, I hope what phrasal verbs are is clear to you, and I hope their importance is also clear to you. And what are the various sources from which you can learn them? We'll talk about that as well. Let's begin with our questions first. Okay. All right. So, this is the direction. In each of the following questions, a word has been used in 5 different sentences. Identify the sentence where it has been used incorrectly or inappropriately. It's a very common question type across your exams. Okay, NMAT, SNAP, IFT, a very common question type. Moreover, CAT early papers. You will find a lot of such questions in CAT early papers also. Right? So let's have a look. This is your question 1. Absolve. Right? Absolve is a verb, of course. Now let's see in which all ways this verb can be combined with various prepositions or adverbs. So these are your 5 sentences. Tell me which of them is incorrect. Yes, which of them is incorrect? So, Siddhant, I understand your concern. The best way, actually, if you ask me, the best way to learn phrasal verbs is to read as much as you can, because when we read, no, we come across these phrasal verbs repeatedly. So it's important that we read a lot and we read diverse stuff. Automatically, we'll be exposed to a lot of phrasal verbs. But this is a relatively long-term process, right? If let's say you have just a month for your exam, in that case, you'll have to consciously make the effort to learn some phrasal verbs. So I would say don't start with a 600 plus list. Start with, let's say, a 200 to 50 word list, right? So for instance, Renan Martin, the grammar book, that gives you a chapter. It calls it idioms, but they're actually phrasal verbs. So you can learn those. They are about 250 in number. And the good thing is that they've used all of them in sentences. So you can, in fact, when you start learning them, no, what is the first thing that I do when I learn words consciously? I cut, I delete, I strike off all those words that I already know the meaning of, all those phrasal verbs that I already know the meaning of. You yourself will realize when you do this, no, at least 50 words will be shaved off your list, right? So if let's say you're learning 200, you will now realize that I have to learn just 150. 50 I already know. I've already read them at one place or the other. Right? So that way, yes, you'll have to make that conscious effort to learn them. Start small. Okay, give yourself a small target every day and then stick to it. Right? Another good way is that another 2 practices that you can do is there are a lot of podcasts on phrasal verbs. Okay, so on Spotify, you can find a lot of podcasts on phrasal verbs, right? So go for those. When you listen, it becomes easier to understand and learn and memorize. And another thing that I try is whenever I learn a new vocabulary word or a new phrasal verb, I try to use it on purpose during my day, right? In a conversation with a friend. Okay, so I try to use it on purpose. So these are something that work for me. I hope they work for you as well, right? Ren and Martin podcast and usage. Okay, D Delhi is what you are saying. I was relieved to be absolved for my oath. So Varun, what makes it incorrect? You are right. What makes it incorrect? Hello, Vicky. Neha, tell me what makes it incorrect? Absolved is a verb that is always followed by either of or from. Absolved of or from. You're absolved of or from something. To basically absolve means to exculpate, meaning that you free someone from some obligation, you claim that no, they are not guilty of a crime, right? So to exculpate, that is a synonym. Exculpate. Culpa means crime, right? So exculpate. You free someone from an obligation, okay? When we talk about absolving someone of their sins, he asked the priest to absolve of his or her sins. That means he would no longer be held accountable for those sins. People bathe in the Ganga river because they think that will absolve them of their sins, right? He was absolved by the court from all responsibility. So free from all responsibility. Absolve her of all blame. So this is used for blame, sins, responsibilities, obligations, etc. Absolve of or from my oath. From is better here. I was relieved to be absolved from my oath, from that obligation, from that oath that I had taken. Right? His youth does not absolve him of guilt. Now see again, guilt has come here. So all the other sentences use absolve correctly with, of, or from, but D uses it incorrectly, and that's why these are answers. Okay. Uh, Agreed, Varun. It's not talking about any crime, but we can, because an oath is an obligation, no? So we can use it that way, that they absolved him from his oath, because it's a sort of an obligation when you take an oath to do something, right? So D Delhi here. Let's look at another question. Admit. This is a very common word, yes? Admit. So let me see who answers the fastest here. Sorry. Let's see what you say. I've got D from Vicky. Okay. Others. C. Nihar says C. Anushka E. Okay. Diverse responses. C, D, E. All right. C. All right. Okay. So here actually D is the incorrect one. He admitted knowing her. He admitted to knowing her. Okay. So you admit when we talk about, when you know a gerund comes after it, what is a gerund? A noun which has a verb plus ing structure. So you admit to a liking. He admitted to knowing her, right? Whereas here there is no gerund, so he admitted his mistake. This is fine. He admitted his mistake. Admitted about is incorrect. right? So he admitted to knowing her, she admitted to a liking for pulp fiction, he admitted his mistake. All of these, I mean, once I add to, then all of these become correct, right? So these two cannot be the answer as they are correct. The ticket will admit, allow. Admit also means to allow to enter, right? Allow to enter. So the ticket will admit two people only. The president's statement allows of one interpretation only. You know, we can, it actually admits, when I say it allows one interpretation only, no other interpretation can be made. That's what it means. So admits of is incorrect here. Admits of something means allows of one interpretation here, right? So see that with one verb we can use multiple prepositions. So plus of, plus to here, right? And nothing also. So this is the usual usage of the word. When you admit to something, you in a way confess or finally reveal something. When I say this admits of only this thing, that means it allows only one thing, right? And another meaning of the word admit is allow. Okay, hope this is clear. All right, all right, no issues, Anushka, no issues. Now coming to our next question. I hope you'll remember this. There's nothing like admit about. You admit to something. Okay, back. This is also a verb. It can be used as a verb. I understand that it's a noun also. So let's see what you say. Onlookers are your spectators. Let's see what you say. E, okay. He tried in vain to back out of the deal. Okay. Sorry, this is a typo. This is a typo, okay? Because I intend to ask you the usage of the phrasal verb. Okay. This was a typo. He tried in vain to back out of the deal. So that means there's an error in these. Either back out should not be used here, backup should not be used here. So those are the errors that I'm looking for. Sorry. Hi, Pooja. So Pooja is actually my friend and she joins my chat sessions and she has threatened me that if I don't respond, then she'll type something in the chat box. That's why I have to respond to her highs every time. Vishesh says B. All right. What do the others say? C, B. All right. Okay. So B versus C. Come on, I need more responses. Okay, more B's. All right. Let's see. Let's see. What else? What else? 4 responses. Come on. You can make guesses here. No, no negative marking here. A. Okay. As the men came to blows, the onlookers backed out. All right. So, why do you say A? I was looking for A actually, Anushka. I was looking for A. So, why do you say A? You are correct. I don't think the magic will impress her, Vicky. But I will, okay? I'll show her the recorded video. So as the men came to blows, the onlookers backed out. It should be backed away. See, backed out would mean that they were involved in the fight earlier, right? So you back out from something when you were earlier involved in it. Back out means to withdraw from something, right? So these onlookers, they're onlookers. They were not involved in the fight. They just backed away. They just backed away. That means they distanced themselves. Okay, the thief backed away. He tried to, distance himself, but there was no visible escape route. So when you try to escape something, okay, an undesirable situation, that is when you back away. So the onlookers also backed away. Thoda sa dur ho gaye, right? Back out. When had they participated, then I could have used back out. Okay, good. So A is the answer. I was just hoping that someone says A, and someone did. Good, Anushka. So the thief backed away is correct. Now the prosecution lawyer had to back down. Now see, he had to withdraw. Withdraw in the sense he had to retreat. In case you've seen any war dramas, then you must have seen there, no, that that somebody gives these instructions. All the troops back down. That means retreat, withdraw. Okay. Our live sessions are backed up by recorded video sessions. That means that we add them. They're complemented by. They are they're complemented by, or should I say supplemented by? I should say supplemented by, because this is an addition that I'm giving. Okay, this is an addition that I'm giving. So they're backed up by recorded sessions also. He tried in vain to back out of the deal. Now see, again, he was involved in the deal. He tried to withdraw. Right? So I hope this is clear to everybody why all the others are correct. Right? So A is our answer. Good, 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 good. Very good, Anushka. Okay. So see, you have to be careful in reading your sentences. Do not speed read them. Speed reading does not work for questions like these. Okay, where you have to read sentences and find faults in the sentences. That's why I always tell students that in error correction, sentence correction, do not speed read. You'll not be able to find the flaws in the sentence then. Right? So let's see which one here. Which one do you say? Okay. All right. Let's see. After a long war, the Russian troops bore down all resistance. C, okay. Others? Yes, come on, quick. B, all right. Bear down. Okay. So bear as a verb also has a number of meanings, isn't it? So when we say we are bearing the weight of something, we are carrying the weight of it, right? When I say, oh, I am bearing the consequences of your actions, that means I am now enduring them. I am now tolerating them, right? To bear a child is to give birth to a child. So a number of meanings of the verb itself. Yes. So let's see what all meanings these phrasal verbs carry. I've got C, B, and D from you. C, B, and D. After a long war, the Russian troops bore down all resistance. Okay, so to bear down, to bear down. When you bear down, basically, see, you are actually throwing your weight on someone in a way, right? So you deal strictly with that person, that thing. Okay, so to take strict measures against something, to deal with something, strictly. That is to bear down. Okay, so after, of course, the Russian troops did that. Did you read about what is happening in Russia? Latest happenings in Russia? I think I asked you this in the strategy session on CAT that we had. That read about international affairs, right? What is happening in the international world? There's this column in The Economist, The World This Week. It has these subcategories also, and there you can read separately about politics and business. So do give it a read. I find it very helpful when I just want to quickly know what is happening in the world, right? It gives you a quick update. Right. So I will not tell you as to why some Russian men are fleeing Russia and why all their tickets are sold out and traffics are jammed. So you have to find this out yourself. Now coming to the next one. The government policy is to bear down, again to deal with it strictly, to bear down on inflation. So even this is correct, this is correct. These cannot be the answers. Her decision to marry bore upon the happiness of the family. To bear upon something, to have an influence on something, to have an influence on something. When I say, his words didn't have any bearing on his words did not have any bearing on my actions. Any bearing on my actions. Some of you may have read it this way: to have a bearing on, to not have a bearing on. That means they did not influence my actions at all. Okay, his words did not influence my actions at all. So to bear on or to bear upon, it means to have an influence on. Okay, his theory is not borne upon by facts. Now see, borne upon means to have an influence on. So his theory is not influenced by facts. No. Basically, we want to say whatever theory that he is giving to us, we can't really verify it. We are not able to verify it. So to bear out, when you are able to verify something, you are able to bear it out. So basically I'm trying to say his theory is not backed up by facts. Okay, when you try to verify it, you are unable to do it. So this is the incorrect one here. Good, Apurva. Okay, D, Delhi is the answer. His theory is not borne out by the facts. That's what I should have written here. Third form of the verb plus a preposition. Okay, they are bearing up well under the pressure. To bear up, you have a lot of pressure, but you still bear yourself up. So I try to create some visual cues for myself, and it helps. Okay, to bear down. Okay, so there's a lot of weight there. So to deal with it strictly, right? To bear upon, as if it's like a cloud on your head, right? Over your head. So it has an influence on you. Then to bear up, that you are somehow under a lot of pressure, but you're still carrying yourself well. So to be cheerful under pressure, that is what it means to bear up. To be cheerful under difficulties, in the face of difficulties, that's what I should say. Okay, that is to bear up. Hope this is clear. Okay, so we now know that to bear out means to be able to be checked, to be able to be verified. Okay, B, Delhi is the answer here. Alright then, so we've seen a lot of questions of this type. Let's look at some fill in the blanks now. Again, you have to fill in the blanks with the correct phrasal verb, right? So here's your question. When the results were announced, pandemonium, chaos, noisy chaos is pandemonium, dash, and there was a stampede. So what happened? Let's see. Okay, B, C, all right. B, okay. What else? Okay, B versus C. It's B versus C. Let's see which one emerges as the winner. Okay, a lot of C's. All right. C. Absolutely correct. So this is not a very tricky question. Even though there are a lot of phrasal verbs that are given to you here, in the context of chaos, pandemonium, once you know the meaning of pandemonium, so see, vocabulary helps you, right? This is a contextual vocabulary question. The words surrounding the blank, they also help. So pandemonium broke out. Absolutely. Pandemonium broke out. I think a lot of us know the meaning of to break out, particularly after the pandemic, right? So the pandemic broke out when something undesirable starts suddenly or spreads. For that, we use the word breakout. For instance, I have had an acne breakout. That means that suddenly I've started having acne, right? So that is broke out. And that is what fits here. Others do not fit. If two people break up, they are no longer in a relationship. Yes. If a thief breaks in, a thief broke into their house. So break in is forced entry. Break away. If we break away from something, what do we do? Yes, break away. How is it different from back away? To break away. Tell me. Break away versus back away. You have to tell me the difference between the two. You can be asked this also, right? So it's not that it's the always, the same verb will be used in all your phrasal verb questions. You can get multiple phrasal verbs also. I'll show you such questions also. So, while back away means that you escape from an undesirable situation, break away means to escape from someone's hold. That means they were holding you captive and now you've broken away, right? So to escape from, excuse me, escape from someone's hold. That is to break away. Back away, to escape from an undesirable situation. Alright. Break about. Nothing like break about actually. There's no such phrasal verb as break about. Right? So break up, break in, break out, and break away. Escape from someone's hold. Good, good Varun. Our answer is break out, which is C. Okay. Coming to our next question. I was surprised when my uncle Dash on his way to his work. Yes. On his way to work, my uncle Dash. The phrasal verb that immediately came to my mind was drop in. She dropped in for a quick snack. When someone stops at your place for a brief period of time. But then that was not there in the options. All the options have phrasal verbs with call. So let's see what you say here. A, all right. That's it. A, okay. A, all right. Are we all following the bandwagon? To follow the bandwagon means to basically go with the crowd. What others are doing, to do that, to follow the bandwagon. To jump on the bandwagon. Sorry, to jump on the bandwagon. Not to follow the bandwagon. To follow the crowd, to jump on the bandwagon. A is what all of you say, but no, A is not the answer. My uncle called by. My uncle called by. When you call someone by, that means again you stop briefly at their place. Stop briefly. Okay. So call in has multiple meanings. Remember I told you this, that I'll discuss call in with you. Okay. So to call in someone, the civilians, again, if you've seen some period dramas or read some period novels, the civilians were called in to join the war. This used to happen earlier in wars, right? Probably something that Russia is thinking of emulating. So the civilians were called in. That means their services were asked for the war. Okay, their services were enlisted. Enlist for services. I hope I'm not writing, whatever I'm writing is not hiding behind my face. The civilians were called in to join the war. That means enlisted for services. So that is one meaning of called in. Another meaning of to call in someone is to summon them. To summon them. So if I say he or she has been called in by the queen, that means she has summoned them, right? So that is one meaning of call in. Then another meaning of call in is financial. When let's say a bank asks you to repay your loan, right? So the bank is calling in for the loan that you took from it, right? So this is the third meaning. Let me write this one also here. To require repayment. So the bank called in all the loans that it had given to people. Let's say there's some emergency. Okay. So what do you say? Falling short of your expectations, what happened? Is there some parallel chat going on that I'm not aware of? Okay. So call in, to summon, to enlist for services, to require repayment. So these do not fit here, right? These do not fit here. To call out. I think you must have heard this one. To call someone out. You know, she called him out. She called him out on the misappropriation of funds. On the misappropriation of funds. Yes. So when you call someone out, you highlight their unethical or unacceptable behavior. You bring to the fore and you criticize their unacceptable or unethical behavior. That is to call someone out. Right. So here call out does not fit again. Call out does not fit. Called away. If let's say you are attending a meeting and suddenly you get a call. So your friend, your colleague who's sitting on the next chair will say, oh, she's been called away by a call that she got. She's been called away. So basically to be taken away in the middle of a meeting. To be taken away in the middle of something. To stop doing what you're doing and do something else. Okay, so to ask someone to do something in the middle of something else. In the middle of something else. So if middle of something, right? That is called away. Okay? Call in, call out, call away, call by, call around. So this is an informal one. When you call around people, you basically phone a lot of them because you are fishing for some information. Yes, you want to know some gossip perhaps, or you want to have some information perhaps that you can get only from multiple sources. So you phone multiple sources. That is to call around. Okay? So call in, call out, call away, call by, call around. So many phrasal verbs just from the verb call. Yes? Okay. One, in case, let's say someday you are interested in seeing what all phrasal verbs arise from a particular verb, then dictionary.com provides you with a very good list. So just, go to dictionary.com and type call. And after the meanings, you will get all the phrasal verbs that exist from call, right? So I don't know how comprehensive it is, but I've seen a lot of phrasal verbs from each verb in dictionary.com. That's why suggesting this, right? Sure. Let's have another one. Seventh question. Surprisingly, yoga has dash with all the youngsters all over the world. Yes. Let's see. ये बहुत easy है. Okay. Others? A. Okay. What else? Come on, come on. Akash also says A. Are we again jumping the bandwagon? Are we jumping on the bandwagon? I don't think. Okay. All of you genuinely feel A is the answer. Okay. Okay, Vicky also says it. To catch up with someone, it means that earlier they were ahead of you and now you have come at the same level as them, isn't it? That is to catch up with them, or to catch up with a friend. You're meeting a friend after a long time. That is to catch up with a friend. How does catch up fit here? Yoga has caught up with the youngsters. When we are caught up in something, we are stuck in something. Oh, I am caught up in this meeting. When we say that, we are stuck in this meeting. So, out of all the meanings that caught up has, I am not able to recall any meaning that fits here. That yoga has caught up with the youngsters all over the world. Probably you are trying to say that yoga was behind the youngsters earlier and now it has come at the same level as them. That's not the meaning. What I'm trying to say is that it has become popular. So what should be the verb for popular? Good, Varun, good. B. When something becomes popular, it catches on, right? So yoga has caught on. A trend catches on. A fad catches on. Okay, so it has become popular. Caught up, to come at the same level as someone, to meet a friend after a long time, to be stuck in a meeting. None of these fit here, right? Cast on. Yes. What does this mean? Cast on. When we say she's cast a spell on you. Okay, or this movie has cast a spell on me. This novel has cast a spell on me. That means I am totally charmed by it. That is to cast a spell on something. If I just look at cast on, what I told you was the meaning of cast a spell on. Cast a spell on someone or something. Right? Cast on is a very specific phrasal verb. It's used in knitting. Uh, when we begin knitting, no, we have to make these initial rows first. We have to stitch these initial rows first, so that whatever we knit will hold together. So these, when we put these initial stitches, this initial row, when we weave that is called to cast on. So she cast on and then began knitting her sweater, and then began basically designing the rest of the sweater, let's say. So that is cast on. It's a very specific phrasal verb used in knitting only. So cast a spell on is perhaps more relevant for us. Okay. Carve up. When the cake arrived, she carved up a piece and gave it to me. When the cake arrived, she carved up a piece and gave it to me. So when you actually divide something in a very haphazard manner, in a very ruthless manner, so probably she didn't cut it well, right? So to divide something in a ruthless manner, to divide in a shoddy or ruthless manner. Are we there? Are you listening to me? Yes, divided it. Good, good, good. All right. Shivi along. What does it mean to shivi? Yes. Shivi. I remember as a kid, when I was a kid, my mother would always shivi me to take a bath in the morning. I was not a morning person, so she would always shivi me to take a bath in the morning itself. So to shivi is to tell something to someone repeatedly. That is to shivi, right? And shivi along also has a similar meaning. So for instance, he wasn't willing to make those reports, so I had to shivi him along. That means I had to repeatedly tell him to do it so that he did it, right? To repeatedly tell someone to do something. Tell someone to do something. That is to shivi them along. Forcing, absolutely. So our answer is caught on here, and we've learned so many different phrasal verbs this time. So one from cast, one from carve, one from shivi, two from catch. You can get such questions also. Right? So let's see our last fill in the blank. After that, we have a different question type. Yes, what do you say? We dashed the matter for an hour but did not succeed in resolving our problems. It must have been a major problem, right? They talked about it for an hour. Still they didn't succeed in resolving it. B. Bangalore. Okay. Others? B again. Anushka says A. Adinath A. Alright. See, I need a phrasal verb, right? To talk about is simply to discuss. But look at the context. This is contextual vocabulary. We dashed a matter for an hour but did not succeed in resolving our problems. That means we actually spent a lot of time and we discussed it thoroughly, right? So to discuss thoroughly is talked over. To discuss thoroughly is talk over. Good. Nihar, Vicky, Prathamesh, absolutely correct. So to talk over is to discuss thoroughly, and that is the answer here. We'll choose B over A, right? Let's see C, D, and E. If someone talks you into doing something, oh, he talked me into attending the function, right? So that means he convinced me into doing it. He actually just told me the good things about it, right? So when you talk someone into something, you persuade them to do it, okay, by showing them the positives. So this does not fit, C does not fit here. Talk around, yes. What does it mean to talk around? If you talk around an issue, they talked around the issue of, let's say, the war for an hour, okay, for an hour or for whatever amount of time. This is not essential. So basically, a war can be a difficult issue to talk about, right? And people may not want to talk about it. So to talk around something is to avoid talking about something. Okay, to avoid talking about something difficult, to avoid talking about something unpleasant, to avoid talking about something unpleasant. Right? So talk around, talk into, talk over, talk about, talk to no end. If I say she talks to no end, oh no, I don't want to meet her. She talks to no end. She just does not stop. So talk a lot. To no end means a lot. Okay. So to no end is a separate phrase actually. To no end. You can use it with other things also. Right? It means to a lot of extent, excessively, etc. Okay, so our answer here is B, Bangalore. Okay, we've seen some fill in the blanks also. We saw fill in the blank where we had different phrasal verbs. Those kinds of questions can also be asked. And this question type here asks you to identify the incorrect sentence. If you see, we do not have the same. Acha nahi, isme we do have, yes, different phrasal verbs here also. While most of them are from give, this is not about give. Yes. So I am underlining this for you. Your examiner won't, right? So identify what are the phrasal verbs on your own and tell me if they have been correctly used or not. Okay, let's see. Question number 8. Let's see what you say. Question 8. The fire gave off dense black fumes, not flume. Okay. E. Okay. At the end of the marathon, his legs gave out and he collapsed. His legs gave up. Okay. To give up is basically when you stop doing what you were doing, you basically yield to something. Yes, har maan lena, that is to give up. Yes, so his legs gave up, you are saying. All right, but is gave out incorrect? His legs gave out. My throat gave. After 3 hours of classes, my throat gave out. So give out also means to stop functioning. When something stops functioning, probably because of fatigue, right? So this is fine. His legs gave out. His legs in a way stopped supporting him and he collapsed. So E is fine. The fire gave off dense black fumes. That means it released dense black fumes. So even A is correct. Okay. B is the answer here. Good. Ulti Khopdi has said B. All right. That's one heck of a name to have. The rope gave up as the mountaineers were hauling up their equipment. So see, usually people give up, right? People, log haar maan lete hain. Can I say rope ne haar maan li? That would be incorrect, right? So the rope gave up or the rope gave in or the rope gave out. What should I use here? Yes, tell me. The rope gave away. These are your options. Gave in, gave out, gave away. Given, I have just told you the meaning of. So, acha nahi, I haven't told you the meaning of given here. The government is not likely to give in, to accept to basically reluctantly agree, to yield, accept, reluctantly agree. That is to give in, right? So, can I use that here? I cannot. To give out, we just saw that the rope stopped functioning. Okay, does this fit here or does give away fit here? No. Why would I personify it, Nihar? Why would I personify it? And I have to indicate through some other word, no, that I am personifying the rope. So between give out and give away is better. Okay, so when something gives away, it breaks. To give away is to break, and this fits the best with the rope rather than giving up, right? So the rope wait a minute, give way or gave away? Give away is when you give way. Give away is suddenly I recalled the Instagram post that I see and I realized give away to overall when you give gifts, right? Give way is to break. It should be give way. Okay, so the rope gave way, not away. Give away is when you donate or give something as a gift. Okay, give out, when I say give out, it stops functioning. Give way properly means to break. Okay, if I say it gave way, that means it broke. So this one is the best here, right? We've suddenly turned it into another question, right? And therefore, this is the one that is incorrect here, right? All the others are correct. So I did this through elimination. Give off is to release, give out is stop functioning, give in is to yield, accept, and that too reluctantly. To not go down well. If something does not go down well with the audience, that means the audience does not like it, does not appreciate it, is probably even offended by it. Okay, so all of these are correct and therefore cannot be the answers. Rope is not a person, it cannot give up, it can break. So the phrasal verb for break is to give way. Right? Hope this is clear. All right. No, Neha. Why should I personify it? Tell me. Why should I personify it? Okay. So, and moreover, then I should show it through some other indicator also. No, in case let's say I decide to personify it. ठीक है और बाकी सब सही है, all the others are correct, so there has to be one erroneous sentence. Okay, our last question for the day, identify the incorrect sentence again. Five sentences, sorry for the numbering. We discussed cut down earlier. Let's see what you say. Last question. I need enthusiastic responses. Come on. Quick, quick. I need at least 13 responses. D. Anushka says D. Okay. Vicky says C. All right. Others? What do you say? Okay, it seems like I only have to tell you this. Cyrus Mistry was cut off in the prime of his life, right? So, cut off in the prime, this is an idiom. It's not a phrasal verb, it's an idiom. It's used like this only. To be cut off in the prime is to die young. Cut down, reduce. So, this is absolutely correct. No error here. If I say someone is not cut out for something or someone is cut out for something, that means they are meant to do it. They are meant for the job. They are meant to do it. So he is not cut off for a career in politics. His friend's death cut him off. No. When we cut off someone from our life, to cut someone off, we stop talking to that person, right? That is to cut someone off. Usually when parents cut out their children, when parents cut off their children, they basically disown them, right? So that is to cut someone off. Further, when someone is speaking and you interrupt, that is to cut someone off. So to interrupt or to stop, basically to disown. That's what I'm writing here, right? Both don't fit here. His friend's death actually emotionally affected him, right? So it cut him up. When something cuts you up, basically it's like slashing your skin, right? So cut up someone metaphorically is used to deeply emotionally affect someone. Okay, so D is the answer here. And E says, I cut it fine I cut it fine. Now this is also an idiom. To cut fine for something. To cut fine for something. That means to allow a very small time margin for something. To allow a very small margin of time. This must be new for you. To allow a small margin of time. Okay, so our answer is D, Delhi here. All the others are correct and two of them are idioms. They are used in this sense only. To cut fine for something is to allow a small margin of time to be cut off in the prime. That means to die young. Okay. All right then. This is it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you did, you can press the like button and do read more and more. You will pick up phrasal verbs. Do read from these sources. Learn phrasal verbs from Lennon Martin. There's this website phrases.org.uk. You can at least see the phrasal verb of the day from there. And there are a lot of available apps. Okay, a lot of apps in the Play Store that you can buy. Okay, you can actually download a lot of them for free also. And yes, note down the new phrasal verbs that you learn and start using them. That's important. Okay. When you note them down, you write them. So writing further cements the phrasal verbs in your memory. And when you use them, you speak them. That again is an essential thing if you want to retain something for a long period of time. Okay. So I wish you all the best with phrasal verbs. And this is our CAT 2023 program. It covers a lot of things. You can read them here, right? And in case you're interested in joining our test series, then you can see we provide 70 plus mocks covering all the entrance exams, 20 CAT, 50 non-CAT, and along with this, we also provide you with this, right? We are starting this soon, so don't miss this, right? It's an IIM Bangalore PYQP series where we'll be solving 2007 and 2016 papers because they were set by IIM Bangalore. So we'll see what is the difficulty level, what kinds of questions are asked, etc., etc. So this will begin from 1st October. Do join. And you already know about this. Do join us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. We post some really relevant stuff apart from memes. And this is our Telegram channel through which we can stay connected. Welcome, Vicky. Welcome. You too have a good day. Thank you for attending, all of you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.